Ben, probably the most disappointing result so far in your tenure. What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thoughts are obviously, like major disappointment. I think you only have to read the kind of stats and things like that. So I think it's the earliest the clubs have ever gone out of the competition. So it's, it's another kind of poor milestone on our part. It's a very, very disappointing result on our part. I think what we may have got into a habit though since last year and coming down, and I don't know whether this is throughout the whole club, but it's certainly, I think, creeping into the changing room, is the fact that we're not respecting what we're coming up against.
Yeah, for sure,
I think people need to realise, and that's fans included, that you're not playing against mugs. Yes, we've been step free for a long time, but we're now at the level and we have to compete at the level. And you're not. I feel like some people think that it's just a given that because you've been at step 3, you're going to beat every step 4 side. Don't work like that. You ain't beat 2. We haven't beat 2 step 4 sides, and we haven't beat a step 5 side today. And I think it's that kind of mentality has to get out of our brains lively, and I mean very, very quickly. There was people probably thinking you have to go and beat these today. No, you don't. You don't have any God-given right to go and beat any team, at any level. You have to give a bit of credit to them, because they were, I thought they were very, very good for long periods of the game, and they're clearly going to be a good side in their league. Yes, they're a league below, but it doesn't make them mugs. And I think we're in a bit of a mindset where we just think we've got a God-given right to go and beat teams, and unfortunately we haven't shown that we do.
So first 20 minutes, I thought we were good. Looked a better side. They got into it. Josh made a great save. Got a goal from Nico just before half time. Do you think, in some ways, that was almost the worst thing that could have happened, going in 1-0 up?
I thought we started the game 15-20 minutes, like you say, well.
Yep.
I thought we looked good. We were creating chances. We then had a bit of a spell towards the back end of the half where we had certain players on the pitch doing different jobs. We had different ideas being spread around the pitch, and I think we needed to get in at half time to have a bit of a regroup and give ourselves a bit of a game plan in terms of what how we want to approach it. I think we were caught in two minds across the pitch, and credit to them. Every time that they had the ball, I've shared it with the group, I shared it with you, I thought they were very clean. And tidy, and looked after it very, very well. Didn't disappoint when they were going long, and didn't disappoint when they were shortening up their game, and that's a credit to them. But the second half that we come out, you're in a similar situation to Hartley and Whitney. Your levels have dropped. I thought our quality on the ball in the second half was an absolute shambles. First 3 passes in the half, they're touch tackle passes, and one of the things that just absolutely baffles me is the fact that you've got players that are accepting those passes. You've got a teammate bobbling a ball into you, and you're about to get smashed as soon as you take your first touch. How that is acceptable to some of those players, I don't understand. And listen, the standards for us we've conceded the first goal from a set piece where he's volleyed it inside our 6-yard box. Can't be happening at any level. Again, you say it's a step 5 team. Any team can score against you if you don't, defend the set play properly. And the second goal, as much as it's an absolute wonder strike, one of the best goals that we'll see in a long while, you've got to question the fact that it's come from a left-sided throw-on and made its way over to the right-hand side without us getting anywhere near the ball. And the next thing, we're picking out the back of the net. So listen, I think it's a very, very disappointing second half. But I think we've got a bit of looking in the mirror to do as a group and as a wider club. I think just in regards to, I think we're like I said, we're creeping into that. We think we're better than what we are, and that comes from key players. I do think we're let down by some key players. I saw a tweet when we announced our lineup today about how much experience and leadership was in it. Where was that? Didn't see it, mate. A lot of half-hearted running, throwing arms in the air, whinging at each other. That's not leadership. Anyone can do that.
Yeah, I think from a fan's point of view, that was the most disappointing thing, was that we didn't match them for work rate. We've got 2 training sessions now before South Park next week, who have started well. What's your focus?
I think our focus is like getting ourselves and our head around this result, because like I said, I just shared with the group there, the first thing you do as a manager is get your phone out, look at other results, you get yourself on social media, and listen, people tell you not to read it, but you start reading things. The first thing I've read is coming into the change room is get the manager gone. So they're the type of things that we have to deal with, and I shared that with the boys in there. I said, these are the type of results, the first 2 league games of the season and the FA Cup result, these are the type of results that get your manager sacked. Simple as that. And I just said, I have to take some accountability for that, because at the end of the day, I'm the one in charge, and I'm the one that people will kind of look to, because I've been part of the relegation and been part of getting the club out of the FA Cup at the earliest opportunity that it's ever had. So listen, we've got to take a lot of accountability, and a lot of the deserved criticism, and that's probably a new thing that maybe someone in the group and myself have to accept, get our heads round, and have a bit of a focus on Tuesday and Thursday to pick ourselves up next Saturday. That's I think that's all we can do. At the moment, it just feels like we're got a bit of a curse going on. I'll be honest, it's not an easy time. It's not an easy job to do. I think some people take it for granted, the amount of work that goes into it, and it's we're not Pep Guardiola. We're at this level for a reason, so we're always going to make mistakes, but we've got to get out of that habit really, really quickly. So listen, it's I think you can see there's never going to be someone more disappointed than myself, and that's not just with results. That's with I always look at my own performance as well. So yeah, listen, this is a tough day, mate. I'll be honest. Like you said, I think it's one of the toughest results that I've had to have. Not just in my tenure here, I think just just in my whole time. Because I just think that you're expected to come and win the game. I'm not of that mindset in terms of expecting to win the game, because I think you always have to credit the opposition that you're playing. But I think it's the way we've lost and the performance in the second half, and the amount of key players that I personally think has not just let me down or the club. I think they've let themselves down.
Yeah, sure.
And that's that's something that we've got to pick up and move on from.
Next week.
Cheers.